kana kuti iyo yakauya state yato decline kudhara. Ndozvinhu zvinowanzongobvunzwa. Mutapa state inowanzongobvunzwa kunzi iyo mutapa state internal factors ayo ndo here akakunyanyo contributa kuti decline. Andika zvichizobatsiridzwazvo neprazos system kana kuti prazos system yakaplaya impact ipi to the decline of the mutapa state. Are we together? So in this case now we've given the opportunity to explore the benefits or how was important, what is the impact, of the Prazos system within the Mutapa state. So the question says, how far can it be argued that Prazos were centers of civilization? When we are talking about center of civilization, our main task is Prazos, the Prazeras, or ma Portuguese. How did they become centers of civilization? So indirectly, the question is saying, give us explanation, reasons, facts, which proves that the Prazos system has something positive to the Portuguese. They have something new to the Portuguese. Because to civilize is to inspire new ideas into someone. Are you together? So Taguti, the question demands candidates to review how far did the Prazos system brought new ideas? How far did the Prazos system brought new ideas within the Zambezi Valley, in brackets Mutapa state, within the Zambezi Valley, in brackets Mutapa state, within the Zambezi Valley, politically, socially, and economically. Politically, socially, and economically. Mobata kurukwenda nenyaya. Saka whenever you are given the question iri kutaura about state, ziva kuti tine nyaya dziri kutaura politically, tine nyaya dziri kutaura economic, tine nyaya dziri kutaura what do you call it, social. Hapana patinonyora history tisingatsvage politics, tisingatsvage economy, tisingatsvage social. Even question yemakwekwe yamanyora yaida kuti mudaro mubudi asi ayanga yakafocus ayanga iri economy anje yanga iri economy. Saka panapa unofana kugara uchiziva. Saka in this case tiri kuda kubuditsa on our affirmative side. Affirmative is to agree to the question. Tiri kuagree kuti kumutapa state kwakakwine civilization politically, economically and socially. However, despite the fact that the Prazos were centers of civilization, one can argue that they can be regarded as centers of destruction. Mabata nyacho. Trikuti, anditi ukukwanzi civilization, it means a new idea being brought. Ukutakutoti wavaito kanganisa state, havana zvinhu zvinyowani zvavakatipa. They can be reviewed as the centers of destruction. Taurirane? Right. Then, in this case, takuda kutsvaga how the Prazos were centers of civilization in terms of political issues. So in this case, one can say, in terms of the political issues, the Prazos were centers of civilization because in terms of all political matters, the Portuguese supplied guns and ammunition within the Mutapa state. And this was a civilized mechanization in terms of warfare, which was now brought to the Mutapa when Mutapa and his army. for they were now having the ability to conquer the neighboring states or kingdoms such as the Tavara and the Kore into their state. And why? And also they've managed to protect their state from external forces. Why? Because they've a civilized form of defense through guns and ammunition. Takubva ipapo toenda pama alliances. The Portuguese have introduced the signing of alliances for the first time within the interior. When I'm talking about the interior or the plateau, tukubvira Zimbabwe, for the first time apana king anga akambosainawo alliance nevanhu vekunze. But vana Mutapa, Nyatsimba Mutota, vana Ningi were the first people to sign alliance. For example, tina Gatsirusere Nyamboga Pararidze. They've managed to sign the alliances, the political alliances which were now going to protect the state from Maravi kingdom attacks. So it was now a civilized way yekuti uri kutsvaga a foreigner achikubatsira ku defend a state through an alliance, signing of a document, signing of a paper. And it then the Portuguese brought the Chikundas, that is their army which was maintaining law and order within the state. And this have made the state kuti isawane massive wars and succession disputes, just like zvakaitika ku Great Zimbabwe. Why? Kwaiva nearmy yainzi the Chikunda yakauya nema Portuguese yaimaintaina law and order, zvikaita kuti vanhu vave loyal. Reasons, analysis dzauri ku bring on the table. Tuonana. Then tabva ipapo takutoenda paeconomy. Wakuti despite that the Prazos, they introduced the political civilization, we can also diversify to economic civilization. For instance, new farming skills were brought in, for example, irrigation, intercropping and whatsoever, and this have improved food supplies and diet of the Mutapa people. Then to by papo to end up new machineries were brought in, for example, the use of tractors, the use of combined harvesters, and this made work easier. And it was a new mechanized system yanga yatakuwana yaibatsira state kuti economy yave even improved than before. Tunzanana. Then topedza toenda pama new seeds, new variety of seeds were introduced, and this have made the Mutapa individuals or subjects to supplement their diets. For example, there was introduction of wheat, rice, and a variety of fruits through Portuguese, through Prazos system. Saka vana vakatanga ita cash crop farming. Handika vakutanga kurima tobacco, vakutotengesa, vakuwana mari. Tabatana. Then panapa takwenda pama new mining techniques akatanga kuintroduced nevana. Then on to social. In terms of social, there was the introduction of Christianity. Christianity was a good religious task which was brought by the Portuguese. Why? It started to teach people new beliefs that were righteous than before. For instance, before people, they were much more concerned into wizards, witches and whatsoever, a burning of twins and whatsoever. But according to Christianity, they started to know that no, there's nothing bad about having twins. Rather, it is a blessing. Then panapa takutenda panya education. Within the Mutapa state, many people, they start to become literate. They were now being taught how to read and write. And vanhu vakutanga kuverenga chinhu chinyowani. Tukurirana. Panapa uchatonzwa kuti mwana waMavhura, he was taken to India for education. Civilization. Then touya panapa chinonzi civilization, that new mode of knowledge that was brought in, the use of technology, the kupfeka chaiko madyiro chichi, something kuti zvinhu zvinyowani zvaingoyawo nemaPortuguese zvaibatika. Even lifestyle yachinja. Then, however, despite the fact that Prazos were centers of civilization, one cannot forget the ideologies where these political, social, and economic civilizations, they had to some extent associated with the destruction and negative effects. For instance, in terms of political matters, there was the establishment or installing of the puppet leaders, for example, Zimsec. These individuals, they started to be the mouthpieces of the Portuguese, and this have demoted the political impact of the Mwene Mtapas. Andika, vanga vasasashande on their own abilities. They were now being used by the Portuguese. Twitter, the Ntoyapa, the Chikundas, the army which was introduced by the Portuguese, it was intimidating people in their own state, which was something negative because they were deprived of their freedom. Twitter, the Ntoyapa, by economic, there was a loss of land. Andika, vanhu lose land yavo, many people they become landless. Then to ya panapa papa van lose my minds avo, loss of long distance trade. Vava sasa kwanse control trade ye Maswahili ne Arabs. They were now only focused to the Portuguese, and their economy was now limited because there were other goods avanga vasasa wani when the Portuguese were within the Mtapa state. Which explain wakuya loss of freedom okukwaka introduce kwa slave trade. Vanhu vakatotanga kutoenda kunoshandiswa mahara, vakadzi vairepwa, zvingodaro. These are the sum of the factors. Kana mune mubvunzo mubvunza. Alright, pama alliances apa tiri kuti isusu due to my political impact. And the Portuguese, they brought in the idea whereby they had to sign my alliances with the Mtapa people. The signing of the alliance was a new civilized method. Why? Because they've agreed in those alliances that the Portuguese state was going, so the Mtapa state was going to be protected from any external force. So by that time, the Mtapa state was under the siege. Cannot was under the verge of being defeated in the Maravi people. The Maravi people by 22 years